everybody, it's Julie Ebersol for Ellen Hutson, and today's Hello Monday video features this beautiful autumn design done in the freestyle collage style, which is really popular right now. And to get started, I actually decided to work with a few elements instead of going too crazy, because for me collage is always very challenging to make all the pieces work. So I decided to go with a more of a minimalist approach. So I'm just going to take some basic gray clippings strips. These are just left over from the 6x6 pad from another project I had been working on, and I just took those strips and tore them, and then I die cut some leaves from Nina Natural White using the Impression Obsession leaf dies, and I am going to start aging them and adding some color by using these awesome sponge daubers by Tsukineko. They have these little caps on them, and I love that because then I can toss them into the storage bin and it'll keep everything clean and tidy. and if you get one for every color, then you don't have to wash them. So that's what I do. So I'm just going to daub some color onto the edges of these dies, and I don't know if you can see it in the paper on video, but the detail lines from the dies are embossed into the cardstock. So when you die cut, it embosses those detail lines at the same time, which I think is a really neat effect. And after sponging the scattered straw, I decided to add a little bit warmer color, so I brought in some Peach Bellini, and that's also by Ranger and part of their Adirondack line. And then this scattered straw color is a distress ink that's just a really pretty, soft, earthy, yellowish color. I just love it, straw, and it just looks really pretty for fall. So now I'm going to start building the base of my freestyle collage, and these strips are just going to get adhered there onto this linen. This is a panel of the linen white cardstock, which I love. It's a heavier weight, 100 pound, and it's got this great texture to it that's very fine, and it just kind of takes your projects, especially if they're clean and simple, and just kind of kicks them up a notch. And then I thought it would be fun to sew, but I didn't want to drag out the machine for too little stitching lines. So I grabbed this set by Technique Tuesday. It's a new one for me, and I love it. It has all these different stitching lines and patterns on it, so it's got a great variety. And I love the fact that, you know, you got a single stitch line, you got the double stitch line, you got the cross stitch and the zigzag, but I mounted two of them onto the block because I needed one to kind of act as a bumper or a kind of a base so that it didn't rock the block as I was stamping the lines that I did want to work with. So I just inked up the ones I wanted to work with some pearlescent chocolate ink by Tsukineko. This is a Brilliance ink, and I love it because it's a beautiful deep brown, but it's got this pearlescent hue to it. And I love the fact that it makes these stitches look so real. So until you actually get up close and personal with the card, you wouldn't realize that the stitches are actually stamped on. So now I'm just going to layer my leaves and then start putting my sentiment on here. And I didn't have a stamp that said what I wanted, so I'm using my little Prima alphabet. And I love the fact that you can mount them onto the block, or if you need to space them tighter together, you can just use them alone. And I also like the fact that the letters are printed on the sides of the plastic blocks, so you can line them all up in the order that you need them and then stamp them. And wow, a lot less chance of error when you're spelling something. Ask me how I know. And then I started spelling from right to left to make sure that I would fill in that space the way I needed it to. And I started from the bottom. There's two lines, so there's the first line was stamped and then the second line up above it. So I like to work from the bottom up. And then I wanted to add just a little bit more texture, so I took the Delicata ink, and this is a newer ink by Tsukineko. They came out with this about a year ago, I think, and I just love it. It's a nice warm metallic gold, and it looks stunning when you do not emboss it. Just leave it naked, and it's a beautiful effect. And I'm using this stamp that I actually cut apart from the Spills and Spatter set. This is by Stampers Anonymous, and it's like coffee rings and ink splatters and stuff, and I just took some of these splatters from that design and just cut them apart so I could use them separately from the rest of that image. and stamp them where I wanted them. And that helps me get some very strategically placed droplets. So if you're kind of like me and you're picky about where your droplets land and you don't want them to be completely random, then that stamp is really great for that. So I like the look, and I kind of added a few more by rotating the stamp to get more of a random look. So it looks like they were randomly dropped on there, but really it was very controlled. And then I just 3D mounted this panel to a white card base, and I think it makes an awesome collage effect without going too deep into too many layers. I hope you'll give freestyle collage a try. It's really fun and very easy to do. Thanks for watching.